What is going on, everybody? We are back with more Spellslingers gameplay, and this time we are playing what is, in my opinion, one of the strongest planeswalkers in the game right now, and that is Ashiok. Let's go. What up, what up, what up? Welcome back to my channel. I'm Rox Squad, and here we do all things magic and magic Spellslingers now. We are back at it again with a deck tech here. I have obtained a bunch of planeswalkers now, a variety of them in some of the different colors, except for white. Uh, I have played against this deck a lot on ladder, or this planeswalker a lot on the ladder, and every time it was just so powerful. So I figured if you can't beat him, join him. Ashiok, if you are unfamiliar, is the blue-black planeswalker, the kind of spooky lady. And starts with 22 health and has a very interesting ability. So when you add a card that didn't start in your deck to your hand, or you play one of those cards, you attach a nightmare to one of the top 10. Oh, I actually didn't know about this. I actually have to read this ability to one of the top 10 cards of your opponent's deck. And then when that card is drawn or milled, so you can kind of do a mill stuff with this maybe, they take 1 damage and you gain 1 life for each nightmare attached to those cards. So as you can see, basically this is a classic kind of Dimir sub theme that has been in Magic for quite a while now. Think like Gonti, Lord of Luxury, and cards like that, Hostage Taker. You know, if you're playing, this is like if you're playing real Magic, right? These kind of steal your opponent's cards and play them type things, where you kind of just play based on what your opponent and you know, it's different every time. So, and there's a lot of cool things that we can do with this now because we have digital. So speaking of, let's take a look at the 3 unique cards that Ashiok gives us access to that we are all playing in this deck. So we've got Extract Fear, which is a 1 mana spell to draft a copy of a card for your opponent's starting deck and add it to your hand. So this is an important thing where if your opponent has like added cards to their deck, you know, you don't get it. So that's pretty interesting. But already you see just 1 mana, you not only get a card out of this, so it replaces itself, but it triggers the ability, so it puts a nightmare in, and both when you add it and play it. So very, very good. And then we've got Shadow Stack here, which is 4 mana 4/5, and its debut is reduce the cost of each card in your hand that didn't start in your deck by 1. So again, you know, get a bunch of cards in your hand through some kind of card generation ability, and then play this, reduce them, and then you start spewing them out. That can be really strong. But by far, one of the most powerful cards, the card that I'm going to be looking for, and is how I try to play the deck, is Shadow Mage Saboteur, which is a 2 mana 2/3 that when it attacks, you double all nightmares you attach this turn. So just right there, you can instantly see how powerful this card can be. Just play it on turn 2, attack with it the next turn, and do whatever you can to generate as many of those nightmares as possible, and then they get doubled. This is like the card that I'm really looking to play on turn 2, hands down. All right, so now that we've kind of gone over the unique cards, let's go over the deck. A really important thing about the deck building restriction for this is that there is none. You play any, you can't play, it is exclusively blue-black, so you can't have any other colors in here. It's only blue, black, and colorless cards. But we can play any number. We're not limited like we are with Chandra, where we can only run 6 cards of another color. So already you kind of see, it has been seen that the multicolored planeswalkers, I wouldn't say are just inherently more powerful, but have more flexibility at their disposal to be played and be played in a variety of ways. Anyways, not trying to get into a balanced discussion here, but anyways. So first off, I wanted to talk about the land choice here. So first of all, we're choosing to play Fountain of Magic as opposed to just Underground Sea or some of the other cards that exist. There's the black one, which generates a vampire, but here this Fountain of Magic can give us a variety of different card advantage or interaction spells, and already we'll be able to get lots of creatures through other means. So Fountain of Magic here being really good, just has a 30% chance to not only generate a card, but also still triggers the Nightmare ability of Ashiok. So very, very powerful card. Pretty much every single deck I've seen has been either running this or has been running the zombie one. But again, I don't think the zombie one is as good, in my personal opinion. All right, and essentially what we have here, just to give a general overview, is just a mid-range deck. We are playing lots and lots of value cards, cards that generate more cards, using those cards to generate nightmares, and then using that to kind of propel us into the late game, where again, the more cards our opponent draws, the more likely we can play a nightmare and have them end up being drawn faster and faster. So again, think about if your opponent only has 5 cards in their deck, and then you just put a bunch of nightmares, the probability that they draw those nightmares increases more and more and more as the game goes on. All right, so let's talk about some of the other cards here. Again, I'm not going to talk about the cards that we just talked about, but we've got Rune Shell Crab, which is 1 mana 3/3 in our deck. Again, we don't really care about attacking as much as a normal deck would. Again, primarily dealing damage with our nightmares. It just being a really good blocker is great. Get Ahead is essentially another 2 copies of Extract Fear. Just we don't get to draft, but we do get to draw the bottom card of our opponent's deck, and again that triggers our nightmares. And we've got a bunch of these cards with debut effects or death effects that generate cards. We've got Neurobot here to add a blue card, Lore Keeper to add a random spell. This again can find us a ton of different interaction or card advantage spells, so very, very good card to be having here. We've got Drain Blood to just help us stabilize and help us remove creatures and gain some life. Scorpion here is kind of all of the above, where it is a good early blocker to play, as well as generating a Fatal Infection in your hand to trigger the Nightmare, as well as providing a Doom spell in order to remove a creature. So it does quite a bit of heavy lifting in this deck if it lines up well. There are some cases where, again, against aggro or something like that, it's just a little too slow. Sometimes you can't really fit in the 1 mana. Sometimes they place something over it or do something to get past the kind of Doom spell, but I find it's pretty good. We got Hero Bot here, just generating a white card. Agony Warp is a fantastic card in this deck, helping us to stem or kind of slow down the assault from our opponent, but also gives us an Agony Twist in our hand, which is both generating a nightmare and is a removal spell that again generates a nightmare. So very, very good card here. Again, see that a ton in these decks, so definitely I don't want to say a must include, but definitely a big include. I got Shell Game here as another piece of removal. This is really important for the Liliana matchups, where if they want to try to reanimate their Reaver or something like that, you can just transform it into a turtle and it doesn't end up in the graveyard. So a lot of times if I have this card in I'm playing against the Liliana, I'm going to save it for specifically that creature, just because it provides way too much value, way too much pressure in terms of damage. So yeah, this is kind of like the main function. Otherwise, it's just a good removal spell. It's just very, very nice. Again, we don't particularly care about attacking, so the 0/6 blocker is not really doing too much against us. Probably the most impactful card, if it resolves, is Jolt of Inspiration. Just generating 3 random spells in your hand triggers 3 different times for nightmares, and then when you play those cards once again, it does that. Now, it can be very slow, right? This is a 4 mana do nothing, so if you just play it on turn 4 and you're up against an aggro player, you're probably just dead. But in the matchups where you care about card advantage, it can be very powerful. And again, if you end up stemming the bleeding against an aggro player, this does a good job of also generating more nightmares to keep your life total high. The next draw for this is to be able to Saboteur, attack, and then play Jolt of Inspiration, which will generate 6 Nightmares in one go. Very, very powerful play. We've also got Infest here, again for aggro decks. So both Drain Blood, Infectious Scorpion, Agony Warp, and Infest give us a ton of aggro protection. Primarily the deck is just trying to survive, because if things go right and you are able to get into the late game and you can generate lots of cards, the cards that you generate will hopefully be pretty good and can help you win in any kind of attrition situation. Similarly, we've got Master of Possibilities here, a very, very powerful, very, very expensive card. I only have one at the moment. I'm working on getting a second. This is definitely a card that I'm looking to craft a second copy of. I opened it randomly, or I obtained it somehow, and I was like, yep, this is a good card. It took me 2 seconds to recognize. Just 6 mana, 4/4 debut. You add a random, draft one of 3 spells that cost 6 or less, and then it costs 0. Now the difference is that it's a temporary spell, so you have to play it that turn, but that's fine. You get a choice of one of those 3. You can find whatever the best option is for that given situation. Again, hopefully one of those options is good, and cast it for free. Not only do you get a Nightmare for adding the card, but again, when you play it, because it costs 0, you get another Nightmare. So very, very good card. If you can land it again on a neutral or a board, you should be able to get some good value at it, and then out of it, and then trade it off. I find it's not really great while behind, because right now there aren't a lot of great defensive spells besides some life gain cards. Like I really don't. I have not been successful in using this card to try to stabilize. But on the other hand, this card, Evil Twin, is very, very good at stabilizing the board. It is a 6 mana 3/3, which might not sound very good, but when you debut it, transforms into a copy of an enemy creature, and the creature gets -3/-3. So your opponent plays a 5/5 or something like that, you play this as a 5/5, and their thing becomes a 2/2. So instantly you are able to get board dominance, or even trade their creature, right? So this is like if they have a 3/3, you play this, it becomes a 3/3, and you kill their 3/3. So it's an instant 2-for-1 most of the time, if you can play it like that. And otherwise it just is will always be a good blocker, or will give you some form of board helpful board presence, which I really, really like. So again, this is not primarily here to be like a really aggressive card or anything like that. It's just trying to help us survive so that we can do our Nightmare stuff. Yeah, that's pretty much the deck. I'm not going to get into too much more. It's pretty straightforward. Survive, generate your Nightmares, play good cards, and keep going. I find it's very, very fun, except in the mirror matches where you're using Extract Fear and then you get Extract Fear and then you keep doing that. Or, if your opponent does that to you, you're not feeling too great. And then everyone just has, so many Nightmares going off. Life totals really aren't changing that much unless someone is like miles ahead. And it's quite a slog. It takes like 20 minutes to play a game out in the Ashiok mirror, but hopefully that doesn't happen, or the games go a little bit faster. But we'll get into the gameplay here as we are doing that. If you enjoy my content, are enjoying Spellslingers on this channel here, feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you like to see, and while you're at it, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Just in general would really help me out and grow not only just the channel, but Spellslingers content in general. I really want to get the word out about this game because I'm enjoying it. Alright, so here we are. We have the Ashiok Mirror. I think I'm going to keep this Runeshell Crab, even though it's not really the card that we want in the matchup, but we want to have something to do early, and this is perfect. So we can play Runeshell Crab on 2, play Lore Keeper, and then that's it. That's what we got. So I could play this now. I don't really want to. There's not a lot of reasoning for it. Notice our opponent is also playing the Fountain of Magic, as they should be. Excuse me. Hydrate, don't dehydrate. Water is good for you. Eldritch Tutor is a good card. Ooh, that's not bad.
Can you keep a secret?
This is a card that I was hoping to not see. So this card is so brutal in the mirror, where you draft a creature from it, put it into your hand, triggers the nightmare, and then this card gets added to your opponent's hand, triggers their nightmare. It's just miserable. I'm gonna start off with Extract Fear. Hopefully we find their Extract Fear. We did not, but we did find their Eldritch Tutor, which I think I'm gonna do. Momir Vig seems like the pick here, is it not? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. We'll chill for now. We'll probably just end up playing this, but yeah. Anticipate, interesting. I don't see that a lot from Ashiok. I feel like the 2-mana slot is very much confounded by the card generators. We're just playing this. We're playing Jolt. I feel like I kind of want to play Jolt. Yeah, be jolting. Get Ahead is a nice little pickup here. So next turn we can play like Get Ahead, like Forest Patrol, and we'll be in a pretty good spot. Oh, so you can already see like how brutal this is going to be if we're able to like use these cards to get some of their card generating cards. Like it just would feel like totally unfair. Agony Warp is perfectly fine with me. Alright, so there's their Get Ahead. It's fine. Alright, so I'll play Get Ahead here, the one that we generated. Counterfeiter is a nice one. I think I'm gonna play that and then just play the Forest Patrol here. Alright, so we have 9 Nightmares currently in our opponent's deck. This is, if we get this off, this is gonna be sweet. Alright, that makes sense. But again, we're forcing our opponent to kind of use that, and otherwise they're not really using a whole lot of stuff. Alright, so we got our Fountain to trigger here. Not really loving that. We might just Shell Game to prevent them from generating too much stuff. Yeah. I think we're gonna play this Get Ahead here. Sure. Oh, it actually draws it. So if they have a Nightmare, we get it still. All right, yeah, I think I'm gonna do that. And say go. And just chill. There's triggers too. Oh my god. This is gonna be a slog. This is gonna be a slog. Quite the slog. I guess that's fine. It's fine, it's fine. Ooh. Do we just play that?
Your thoughts are an open door.
Yeah, maybe we do. This will also draft so we can play the Aether if we want. That's not particularly good. I guess this Trumpet Blast makes our board very large. We could also put Ejected. Maybe we just do Ejected to put this guy back into their deck. And we just attack with all of these. Yeah. What this does is it at least makes it so that these deal a little bit of damage to stuff, and then we can just play out our Figment. This doesn't deal any damage, but I didn't really care about that. Tutor King. Another Shadow Stag. So here, I think I'm just going to block with this so that I can infest and heavily reduce our opponent's aggro potential. Okay. yeah, so here I will infest, killing a lot of the board, and then playing the Shadow Saboteur. I'm going to save this pick teams for after I attack with the Saboteur, because if I do attack with the Saboteur, then I'm going to want to play as many of these card generation spells as I can during the rest of this turn. Now, it is nice, you know, to get the Fountain of Magic to trigger, but there is a cost. So my opponent only has 6 mana at their disposal, because when these trigger, you do not get the mana gem for the turn.
Perfect one's craft.
Can you keep a secret?
Open your mind.
All right. So they thought about attacking, but I don't think it's particularly profitable for them. Yep, that's fine. Extract Fear is a really good one. All right, so here is where the Nightmare really comes into play. Is now not only do we get this, but like we get to cast this, generate more spells, play them.
Let's see what haunts you.
Probably just Lore Keeper.
Open your mind.
I think we should cast this still. And we can play Agony Warp on something, or we can just play Lore Keeper. Maybe just play Lore Keeper. And I think I'm just gonna play this pick teams here. After you target a friendly creature, that creature gets +1/+1. Not particularly interested in that. I think I just would like the Soul of the Wood. So now there are 24 Nightmares in our opponent's deck, just after one instance of attacking the Saboteur and playing the Jolt of Inspiration. Ooh, do we have? We do not. Well, let's attack, deal damage. We do not have any spells here. So we could Pyroclasm. That's probably what we're doing, and then we're gonna Agony Warp. Yeah, so I'll probably just attack like this because I'm gonna Pyroclasm anyways. Oh, that has Relentless. That's not good. That's a difficult thing. I think we still Pyroclasm. The question is, I think I play the Neurobots.
Perfect one's craft.
And then just play this. Yeah, this is a little rough. This is gonna do a lot of damage.
Your thoughts are an open door.
Oops, too many cards. Oops, too many cards.
Oh, do they have?
One must protect
Interesting.
one's craft.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh my goodness. I don't think we die, but that's not good. That's really not good. How do we do this?
Let's see what haunts you. One must protect
We might be
one's
dead.
craft.
Oh my god, we're on 2. We're on, sorry, 2, we're on 1. Alright, so I'm gonna do this. And I just have to play as many generated cards. I guess we'll do, it doesn't matter, like I can only really play 1 or 2. I guess I'll just play this. Let me attack first. Yikes. There's so many in my opponent's deck, like we have to get like 1, right? I just would like a couple. Oh my goodness.
One must protect one's craft.
Okay, that makes me feel a little better.
Your thoughts are
But like it doesn't make me feel good. That is very rough.
Pick a spell.
That's scary. They could get lava axe from that, or something like that that deals damage. They also put a bunch of nightmares, right? Yeah. That okay. It's not great, but actually, if they attack us, we just block with our 3/3. That gives us some life. Okay, they're doing that guy. This has reach, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Notably, Evil Twin. Really good here against that. Friendly creature haste, sure. It's fine. I believe this should copy pretty much all the characteristics. Yeah. I thought. You can just play this. Ooh. We can attack like that and attack. Yeah, let's just attack with everything. It's fine. Hopefully they get some amount of nightmares here. Ooh, nice. Okay. Like if we get like two nightmares. Oh my goodness.
Your thoughts are an open door.
If we survive the turn and they don't get 4 nightmares, we have lethal just with lava axe. All right, that's a lot of cards. That's a lot of nightmares. That was a really nice. It only gave us 1 more life, right? Because it's only each instance of healing. All right, so instead of 4, we gained 5, but fine.
Open your mind.
All right, it's pretty good. Though they do give us some mana. It was exactly 4. Oh, it was exactly 4. I love getting lava axe. So you can already see how close or like how much of a slog that game was, just from, you know, us passing cards back and forth to each other, with being able to discover their draft. Got my Hearthstone talk going. Being able to draft their cards that also generate cards. So
Shall we begin?
Give this champ a round of applause. Ashiok versus Midrange. Let's sling some spells.
alright, so we're here against Teferi, and Teferi I assume will be very controlling, so I'm gonna keep this Jolt of Inspiration, but I'm gonna mulligan the other 2 cards. And did anyone say turtle? We're a little slow. Hopefully we can do something proactive at some point. That's pretty nice. Interesting. Runeshell Crab, not gonna phase us in any way. Alright, a little bit. Would have been nice to be able to attack with this, but we're not gonna attack with it next turn. We're gonna attack with it on the turn we play the Jolt of Inspiration and just let it go. I find that holding on to this, trying to draw, like, you know, or trying to find the perfect instance or clear the way for it really isn't the way to go. You should really just could do this unsummoned, but I think we just play the creature and let our opponent have their fun. I don't know. Absorb would have been an option if I was really thinking that this is going to be a slog, but I don't think so. Millstone, you say? Shadow Stag and Drainblood, the 2 cards that probably weren't going to be that relevant. Okay, there is an agony warp here, so now I think I've actually changed my mind where I'm gonna agony warp this and go attacking.
One must perfect one's craft.
Yep, it's fine. So this is a little slow, but again, we're playing against a slower deck, and we should be able to attack next turn if things go our way and play the Jolt. Rogue. All right. Well, what if I just shell game that? This is 5 power or greater. Yeah, I think I'm actually just gonna shell it. I can't believe we're playing against the mill deck. They're doing whatever they can to not take damage. This Tundra, okay. They don't have anything from their land, but that does mean again that they get a something every turn. Okay, this is, oh wow, they add a thing to their millstone. That's very interesting. All right, here we will go attacking, and we'll probably just end up playing the Jolt of Inspiration. Excuse me, sir? Do you let me keep the Saboteur? Why? I don't know why they let me do that, but okay. Black is not bad, right? There's also this Second Sun's Dawn, which will allow me to add the Second Sun into my deck. Okay, there we go. I mean, now that you get rid of it, but like, it's kind of interesting. All right. All right, what card we get? Gross. But I think we are still just playing out some cards here. We're just going to be playing out the Lore Keeper. Destroy an enemy creature with flying. Sure. Let's get rid of this. There you go. So this isn't even really a Teferi deck. It's just a mill deck. Like, they have some of the Teferi cards in here, but like they're not really doing the trap stuff. They're just kind of playing mill, it seems like. That is very fine. We could even stun those if we wanted to. Could stun both of those. We could also just play Lavinia. That's probably the way to go, right? Yeah, we'll play Lavinia. Stun that. And play the Scorpion. Pass. 12 in their deck. Probably should play. Ooh, interesting. That does trigger. By the way, that does trigger our ability here. So anything that was added, including the Stone Turtle here. I forget if the Lure Keeper was one of those. Probably just playing this out. Fest is not great, but play the. Probably this. So now all these are cheaper. Ooh, this Jolt of Inspiration being cheaper is actually sweet. 14 cards left in our deck, so I'm not really worried about mill too much at the moment. Kind of confused where they were going with the millstone plan. Indeed. Millstone's not really great. Like, I've seen Millstone in Ashiok lists because again the nightmares trigger off of Mill, but I think it's a fine card to play off of like a card, like it being generated as a card, but I wouldn't really look to play it in my deck. It's not even that Mill itself is bad, it's just like, or it's not a good strategy. It would be a fine strategy in the game. It's just like, I don't think there's enough mill cards inherently. You know, like there's no, you know, there's like no thought structure or whatever it's called. You know, there's no just like spell that just like mills. I guess there's the 2-mana spell, but again, like not really what I'm talking about. I'm just gonna go attacking here. I guess I could thwack. It's probably not bad, right?
Nope.
Ooh, they absorb. Okay.
They will see.
Whoops, I didn't mean to do that, but I guess I did it. All right, so here's where the traps are coming into play. But if they want to draw cards, I think I'm fine with that. That's the Day of Judgment.
One's craft.
That's good to know that it's in their deck.
Your thoughts are an open door.
But like this is the issue with this is like Ashiok is so good against these thrower decks because they're not putting pressure on me, which means I can just play all my value cards. If you add this to my hand, it triggers a nightmare. Okay. If you say so. I think I'm good to just like cast the Day of Judgment, cast the Jolt. Right? Yeah. Goodbye,
One must perfect one's craft.
Lava Axe is actually not bad to have. Armadillo Cloak, giving something ward. It's pretty good. Each player draws a card. I don't think I would like that. Please don't tell me you're about to give. Okay, I was like, please don't give your thing with the with that can't attack. I think we can play Infest, Drain on this, and then just play the Naya. Because again, this helps us as well. Because again, the mill benefits us. Mills them for 2, which is actually pretty good. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. All right, and they have to shell game it. Time to just play this, see what we get. Pyroclasm's not great, but we can just Second Sun's Dawn, and even just Armadillo Cloak this. Again, don't really care about the effects, care more about just playing out our stuff, and we're at 50 life, and there are still 15 nightmares in our opponent's deck. What I have done here is I could play Clear the Field to bounce this to our hand and get the debut again. I'm not too keen on that. Looks like I won't be doing it. Alright, so that can't attack. And this is where Fountain of Magic comes in. I got 12 mana. I don't need any more mana. I'm happy to draw this.
Perfect one's craft.
Milling everyone by 2 is a little risky. That's awesome.
Pick a spell. Any spell.
I think I'll do Revoke to try and... I guess it doesn't really matter. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. That wasn't very that great. Okay, it's whatever. Oh my goodness. I think we just win. Just this says, yeah. This was not close at all, right? Like I was never pressured. Like I just got to play all my good cards, and like I never really felt threatened. Like it's not like they were playing bad cards, right? They were doing a good job of like controlling the board. I never really connected with them with any of my creatures, right? But like you just like they didn't counter our jolts. Like yeah, they like we just were free to do whatever we wanted. Goodness gracious. All right, we'll do one more.
Ashiok versus Chandra.
All right, so here is a matchup that might be somewhat close. Chandra is a tough one because we're at 22 life to start, and we're going to take 4 damage right now, meaning we're going to start at 18 life, which is pretty low.
Face your fear.
So if we don't get time to play our stuff, then this is going to be a quick game. Filigree Fox is fine. It's better than the Haste guy, right? I'm just gonna jam the Scorpion here. The Scorpion is a card that I'm okay trading away, as opposed to Saboteur. Saboteur is not something I really am looking to throw under the bus anytime soon. Whereas here, I'm happy to just ship this in front of the 4-2. All right. And here is where I'm going to play the Saboteur, not only just because it's the 2-2, but I'm hoping that next turn I can, you know, like if it lives, I have Fatal Infection and Neurobots to help me out here. All right. Looks like they just didn't even attack, so I guess they don't really, the attack wasn't profitable, right? So the question is, what do I cast here? I think the first cast should be this Agony Warp on here. Or should I do a Fatal Infection? Yeah, maybe it should be Fatal Infection. I'll just let them hit me once with it. The turn would have been nice, actually. That would have been a good blocker. All right, so we're taking a bunch of damage this turn, but I'm becoming optimistic. I'm becoming optimistic because that's going away. You can play a bunch of blockers here now. I would have really liked to gain some life there, but oh well. And I'm not looking to play Jolt of Inspiration until I'm like literally have no other options, because it's such a slow card. I will gladly trade here. Again, I'm just looking to survive. I'm not looking to like keep stuff on board. If it's gonna hit me in the face, it's gonna meet its match. That is an awesome draw. That is about as good as it is. I'm gonna play this first. All right, well, now I'm gonna play this because I want to get rid of this and I want to save this for a scenario where I want to play the expensive card. You know, kind of with Magic, the same applies where you want to use all of your mana every turn and save the cheaper cards for a situation like this. Although, looks like we're probably just casting Shell Game, passing. Okay, got a Nightmare. Let's see what they got. All right, they do get to deal me some damage, right? Yeah. That's a nice one. So we're gonna deal 2 damage here. I think we will Agony Warp this and then just play the Saboteur. So they get to drain us for 1, but we get to drain them for 2. Got him. Now we're getting close where like I could see myself casting Jolt of Inspiration sometime soon. All right, so this is not going to work out well for them because we're going to block like this and we're going to get rid of both of their things. That's awesome. Love to see that. Anticipate, not bad. All right, so I'm gonna, you know what? No, I'm gonna Agony Warp. I'm gonna attack with this first. I imagine they would block. If they don't, then I'm gonna cast Drain Blood. Interesting. That's an interesting attack, or interesting block, I should say. I'm gonna cast that there. Cast Anticipate. This is actually pretty close, actually. Agony Warp is a good interaction spell. I think I'm going to take the Agony Warp here over the Lore Keeper. I think it's more important. Ooh, I think my dude's dying here, right? He's got to be. Yeah, alright, that's fine. Yeah, because depending on what they play here, I just might want to cast Agony Warp on it. Let's see what they got. Yeah, that's awesome. So now I can cast Agony Warp to keep my life total, or keep me from taking damage. I can play this Jolt of Inspiration safely, right? And now we're in a great spot. It's gonna be awesome. they do get to hit us. They do get to hit us, but I'm not worried. Because I just get to agony with this, and I think we just, I could just play opportunity, but I'm gonna play the burn spell pure and play it safe. The volcano here, dealing some damage. We gained that life back, so the only thing that it really did was deal our well some damage. It's pretty good. Ooh, that's very scary. Except when they play it like that. I thought that was gonna go face. Why did that not go face? Alright, we're gonna play the Neurobot first. It's pretty good.
It burns.
They got 16. I think I'm good for now. Volcano trigger again? Dang, they're getting this a lot. It's a good nightmare. Keeps me very safe. Alright, so this is probably the turn we'll cast Pyroclasm. Then we will cast Shadow Stag and a Rune Shell Crab and say go. Alright. So it's rough because our opponent doesn't have a lot of stuff going on. I would really love to... Hello. I think we'll just play that. Attack. Yeah, I mean, playing Jolt of Inspiration doesn't really do a whole lot here, but see what we get now. Deal 1 damage. I think we'll just mill them. Trumpet Blast. Okay. It's not bad. Just more nightmares. Yeah, I think the game's basically unwinnable for our opponent at this point. Doesn't really matter what they do. Like, yeah, this does nothing. And that's lethal. Yeah, there you go. We were able to stabilize. That's the perfect way for Ashiok to win, is just to play whatever you can do to survive and worry about the late game when you get there. So see, even there, we had some pretty poor cards. Like, our cards weren't that great, but we had so many more than our opponent. The Chandra player's hand was empty for pretty much the whole rest of the game, you know, after we got past like turn 6 or 7 or something, right? And then just, we could play whatever we wanted at that point, because the nightmares were healing us, and yeah. And so then our opponent had no cards left, so we just continue to 1-for-1 them. Remove whatever we can, and go from there. All right, so there we go. So we got our another treasure for the day. Always love to pick these up. Definitely try and grind the rank ladder, or play rank games as much as you can, even if like you don't think your deck is that great. Just you get some cheap wins or whatever. Definitely recommend that. But we're very close here to getting to the platinum ladder. That's my goal. Trying to get as high as I can. And so far, again, I've been completely free to play. So this deck I was able to build this deck without spending any money. The big things were that getting or opening up one Master of Possibilities was crucial. Everything else is pretty easy to craft or obtain just through opening stuff. So, you know, I think I crafted like one of the evil twins. I opened or purchased one of them from the shop. Same thing for Jolt of Inspiration. I purchased one. I think I crafted the other. And otherwise, most of these cards, maybe I crafted Get Ahead as well. Most of these cards are pretty easily craftable. I think this is 120 dust, whatever we're calling it. So yeah, pretty much these things are mostly, I think Infest is also a fairly easy card to craft. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck. The deck feels very, very, very strong. It's not unbeatable. Some bad matchups do include Ashiok. You can get into a bad scenario against Kaya. Gideon and Johnny have been, if they have just gotten their early cards and we haven't drawn our Drain Bloods or anything like that, can just get way too, steamroll us way too hard by getting too many stuff out on board. Really, our only good way to deal with a large amount of creatures is Infest, and if they get too big, then Infest does nothing. So there are ways to beat this deck. I'm not calling this deck unbeatable, but this is what I would say, kind of before I was experimenting with Chandra and blue cards. This is, I wasn't too sure about that. This is, definitely a high contender. I think Ashiok's ability is absolutely crazy. It just allows you to just play. You could build your whole deck with just, Neuro bots and Hero bots and the other bots or whatever. I've seen some versions of that where you are just playing tons of creatures. I don't particularly like that build, but like Ashiok is definitely one of those ones that it's really, really good to just have. And also you see another thing that really makes Ashiok really good is being able to play a lot of different colored spells where we get to run even amount of blue and black cards as opposed to, again, some of the monocolored planeswalkers like Chandra and Jace. So yeah, very, very strong deck. I would recommend that this is a good place to start if you if you like this type of deck and you are looking for a deck that is strong, maybe involves some crafting but is easy to obtain. Again, I spent no money besides the $5 entry pack, and that didn't even get me that much. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, if you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Again, let me know that you like this content. Also, welcoming suggestions on how I do this content or how I build my particular decks. Again, I'm not calling this deck perfect. So feel free to let me know that in the comments. Also, still have my Discord going. Discord now has a dedicated channel for Magic Spellslingers. You'll find me chatting, posting pictures of cool cards. Tarmogoyf, Dark Confidant are in this game, and anytime I find something like that and I think it's cool, I'll post that in there and have a chat about it. So yeah, go ahead and join that link in the description. And yeah, again, I hope you guys are enjoying the content. I know I'm really enjoying this. I'm having so much fun playing this game, experimenting with it and messing around, and just having a good time with it. So I hope you guys are too, and I'll see you guys for the next video.